Welcome into our latest episode of the Next Level Podcast, catching up each and every week with a different college athlete from around the area. Our guest this week is with the Michigan Tech Huskies, John Paramski, a former Newberry Indian as well. John, how are things going?
Good. Coming off a good 4th of July weekend.
That's always good to get back home and have a good time with your friends and family. Let's just talk a little bit first about how things have been going up at Michigan Tech.
Things are going well. We Curly Stadium's under a little construction right now. We're getting new turf put in, and everything else. The boys are working hard up there, and I'm working hard here.
Before we get into your time with Michigan Tech and even with the Newberry Indians, your football days go back to almost the very beginning. Even as a little youngster in elementary school, I can remember some of your early days in punt, pass, and kick. And
we've been around.
Yeah, well, let's start there. What was that experience like as a young kid, getting to kind of travel around and be a part of a pretty cool activity with punt, pass, and kick?
Absolutely, yeah, that was awesome. Being able to travel around to those NFL games as a kid and get down on the field, and the NFL players are walking right by. I mean, it was a great time, great experience for me.
And you kind of took that momentum, and that was kind of the start of what has become a pretty incredible career. Early on, people kind of had you pegged as the future of Newberry football. From a young age, people were waiting to see you suit up for the Indians. Did you hear any of that coming up through elementary and middle school, and what did you think of that?
Absolutely. I mean, there was always a kind of an expectation to uphold. I mean, Fred Bryant was the head football coach at the time, and he was always talking to me, working with me from a young age and saying, hey, we're ready for you. We want you to be ready. Whatever you need, if you need to get in the gym. I mean, a lot of people kind of helped me out on my way up. So
yeah, a lot of people kind of groomed you for that spot. Middle school football, you kind of suffered a little bit of a setback when you first really started playing with the knee injury. Just tell us about that and how you came through that, because those things are tough on anybody, but for a kid who's just really trying to develop, that's a pretty big deal.
Absolutely. Suffering that serious of an injury at that young of an age takes a toll on your mind. All your buddies are out playing football and playing basketball, and you had to sit in the sideline and watch. I couldn't run for 2 years due to that ACL injury, and luckily it came out once I was able to have surgery, and everything went perfectly fine, and I was able to be back to 100% and continue my athletic career.
Kind of put an interesting challenge on your plate, because you jumped basically from playing 6th, 7th grade right up to varsity, because you didn't have that 8th grade year, which is a huge transition. What was that like, going from basically playing middle school football, where a lot of times you can get away with doing just about anything you want if you're the most skilled kid, but then jumping right into varsity without having much of a middle school experience to learn the game?
Right. Yeah, that was a wake-up call for sure. Coming out of middle school and you kind of run around like you said, and then when you have 18-year-old kids running at you when you're 14 years old, you wake up. And it was a tough transition, but it definitely prepared me and made me a better quarterback later on.
Ended up being a 4-year starter with the Indians, set a lot of different records, played on some incredible teams, racked up some individual accolades. When you look back on your time here in Newberry and the journey you kind of took, what goes through your mind?
It was an awesome journey for me. Being able to start 4 years gave me a lot of experience, and being a part of the football program and trying to be a leader on that team for 4 years, I mean, it set me up well for life, and we had a great time. The teams that I played on, I still stay in contact with all those guys, and it was a great experience.
Also spent time playing basketball, won a championship in track. The whole athletic experience at Newberry High School, what was that like for you?
I was very fortunate. You know, the years prior to me being in school, our athletic teams were lacking, you know. Yeah, yep. But the kids that we came up with and the classes that I was around and playing with, we were very fortunate and driven, and we did a very good job of continuing to stay in the gym. And it kind of paid off for us. We were able to have some success.
I got to ask you about a basketball memory because I was thinking about this the other day, looking back on some of your accomplishments. It's still one of the best endings to a basketball game I've ever called. You hit that half-court buzzer beater off the inbound against the Sioux.
Yeah.
Just a pretty good basketball memory for you.
Absolutely. The Sioux battle was always a good game for us, and it's nice when you can make a big play like that.
And that kind of showed, like you said, your group kind of turned the page for Newberry Athletics out of kind of a downtime. There were a lot of days where when Newberry would go into the gym or in any kind of matchup with the Sioux, things would get ugly. But your group kind of went out there, didn't care really who you were playing, where it was, what the circumstances were. You guys went out there and you competed with everybody.
Yeah, we came to play, especially the grade above me in basketball. If we're talking basketball, that's kind of the group that I played basketball more with growing up through elementary and middle school. And we had a ton. We were very competitive. Luckily, the east end of the UP was pretty good basketball at that time, and we had a lot of fun.
For you, the decision then to move on to Michigan Tech after a great 4-year career. You knew you wanted to play college football. Took a lot of tours, went to a lot of different places. What was it about Michigan Tech that ultimately made it the place to go for you at the next level?
Well, it wasn't the snow. That wasn't the appealing part. But no, just a life decision. I knew that if I came out with a tech degree, I'd be set for life, and it gave me a chance to play football as well. So it was kind of a life decision at that point.
Well, a pretty good decision going in there. Get slotted on defense, which is a good fit for you too. You were a player of the year in the UP on the defensive side of the ball. The adjustment period to playing at Michigan Tech, what was that like?
That's a whole nother level. I mean, there's no doubt there's that jump. The guys, when you're playing in the UP, you just got all your buddies playing football, you know. Whatever you have, that's how your squad is. When you're at that next level, everybody's been in the weight room. Everybody's been doing footwork drills for all summer. I mean, the level of play, all those guys want to be there, and the level of play is just that much higher. It definitely is.
And what was it like going from where, like you said, you're a 4-year leader, you're the guy, everybody's kind of looking to you here, and then you go up there, and now all of a sudden you go from the big fish in the small pond to now you're swimming in an ocean up there.
Yeah, there was an adjustment. That red shirt season, man, it's tough. You turn into a punching bag. That's all you are. After summer camp, you are literally just a punching bag. But it humbles you for one, and you get to see that competition for that 1 year, and then hopefully you can look at them and say, that's where I want to be next year. You know.
I know. Always an exciting time I can remember from calling games. Plug your ears for Northern. But playing in that rivalry, a pretty special feeling and some pretty good success on the Michigan Tech side.
Absolutely. I think we got 10 or 11 in a row right now. Yeah. So it's been fun. That's always a good game. I think we're at their place this year, so looking for that next. I want to get out of there without that loss. I don't want to be the one to break the streak.
What's the kind of the lead up to that game, the environment like in that game? Because that really is kind of special for those of us who are involved and follow football here in the UP.
Absolutely. Cat Week's a big week for us. Every week's big in college football, but when it's Cat Week, we don't talk as much as no joking around on the field. I mean, we're pretty serious, and we know we have a job to do, and we have to do it.
You followed in the footsteps up there of another couple of local guys. Davey Carmody went up there to play. Matt Payment went up there to play. You ever talk with those guys about some advice and some transition and fitting in up there?
Absolutely, especially in my early days. I mean, you're pretty nervous leaving high school and going into college football. So I talked with Davey quite a bit, and he helped me along the way. And Matt was, at a younger age, when I was in high school, I talked to Matt about playing up at Tech. And so yeah, hearing what they had to say, that was also another comfort level as I was transitioning. I mean, it was good.
When you look ahead now to the last remaining days at Michigan Tech, you said you want to get out of there 4-0 against Northern. Any other goals or things you're looking forward to this year?
We got GV twice,
Ooh.
And we won them. That's our big game. The last time we played, last year we played, we had them in the fourth quarter, and they got us in that last game-winning drive, and we can't let that happen again. We want to get them. We play them down at their place, and it'd be nice to get them down there.
One of the things I think is one of your biggest legacies. You were one of the hardest working guys that I covered, that I followed around. You're always in the gym. You're always in the weight room. You're always down at the field working. How important was that to you to kind of help you along through your time?
It was, my work ethic has definitely benefited me in the long run. It's something I've always had from a young age. I mean, I was in the gym with my dad in middle school, and it's something I prided myself on. But without that drive and without my buddy in town here to push me and push each other, I mean, luckily we have that camaraderie. He and I are able to work together on that. But the work ethic is needed for college football, and it got me to where I am now.
What's some advice you would give to maybe the high school athlete out there right now that is trying to prepare themselves? They want to play at the next level, or maybe that young kid out there like you that's just kind of running around with their buddies, but maybe you thinks they want to make a go of this someday.
Yeah, I would have to say you have to find a way to be self-motivated. Especially in a small community, you're not going to have a ton of guys that have the same interests as you, and that was hard for me coming up. But if you're able to be self-motivated and you are able to hold yourself accountable, good things will happen.
Good times here in Newberry for John Paramski, where it all started before he headed up to Michigan Tech. Enjoy your summer. I know you're going to make the most of it before you go back to one of the snowiest places on earth. Thanks for catching up with us.
Absolutely. Thanks.
All right, John Paramski with us on The Next Level.